This Spain team just keeps on delivering. But today, man, LAMINE Yamal delivered in a way we haven't seen in a very long time. And this game was so exciting. So I'm going to do my usual player ratings. We're going to go through some of the teams, but we're going to focus on all the Barcelona players in this match. So a little bit from both sides and a little bit of the tactics that we saw from both teams. Coming out of the gate, it was very chaotic, as honestly I expected. This Spain team is not a possession-heavy side, or like we have seen from Spain recently. And this France team isn't great, or we haven't seen them play great, beautiful football from basically the beginning of this tournament on. The first few minutes of this match, they were feeling each other out, really going for it, and Spain were in most of the control, creating some good chances. LAMINE Yamal put in a very good ball that Fabian Ruiz headed over the top of the bar, even though he probably had enough time to put it down. He missed a pretty good chance, and a few minutes later, Kylian Mbappe got in basically the exact same situation on the left wing, passed pretty much the same ball over to Kolo Muani, who actually scored his header. It was a wide open header, probably the easiest one he'll have the entire game. It was also the last time we saw Kolo Muani affect the game in any way. That meant Spain were down early. However, LAMINE Yamal is the greatest player I've ever seen in my entire life today, or at least that first goal was. He was something else today. LAMINE, that first 45 minutes from LAMINE Yamal, brilliant, so dangerous, and he actually had another chance kind of similar to that in the second half. This kid has a wild left foot on him, and I would be afraid of him if I were any other team. Thank God he's on my team. This kid is ridiculous. I'm just excited to see this kid thrive and watch him play more football because it's a special thing. But, you know, the game did devolve a little bit as it went on. Not devolve. Actually, I think it slowed down a little bit going into the end of the second half. Olmo was fantastic as well. But as we expected, this Spain defense wasn't great. I think they handled France okay, though, because France weren't great either. Ousmane Dembele was okay, but I think Cucurella and Laporte did an okay job on the left side there against him as well. He didn't really create anything substantial, and when he did, the balls weren't going into where they needed to be, and Kolo Muani was not there, and neither was Mbappe. So I don't know if it was France getting unfortunate or Spain getting fortunate, but nothing really happened from that, and it was pretty flat from France for the rest of that half. Realistically, this Spain side really showed a lot today, and the fact that they were able to do all of this against a team that was much different to the Germany side that they had to show up against last week. It's huge, because I was worried about how this team could fare against some of the greatest forward in the world right now and the most talented team in this tournament, but they were able to handle it. Just like they handled Germany. Now, I think they were actually better in this match than they were against Germany. They held France to, let's see. So they held France to only 1.01 XG, which is pretty good considering the attacking prowess of France. Now, France haven't been great in this entire tournament. They did create 3 big chances. They did score a goal, but Spain only created 0.7 XG. The difference is that these guys are firing on all cylinders right now. LAMINE Yamal scored an obviously such a low XG chance, and then Dani Olmo did a really great job as well. They are connecting in a way that no one else in the world is. I think we were talking about this on Tifo. This is the best, most informed team in world football right now, period. This team can beat anybody. And so let's go into our player ratings real quick. Starting with the goalkeeper, as we always do, Unai Simon. I think his distribution in this tournament has been terrible. He has played some missed passes. Not that his average pass is bad, but he has played several missed passes throughout this entire tournament and in this game as well that go directly to the opponents and create some very dangerous situations for the side. He's also made some really important stops and saves, specifically that, you know, when he came out of the box or came off his line a little bit against Dembele and was able to put a strong hand on that ball, you know, they were able to win the game with him. So solid performance from him after that, 7.5. Just because his distribution isn't perfect. You could probably argue more than that, though. Marc Cucurella, though, I think he had a really good game. And I don't love Cucurella. I think he's very not injury-prone, but problem-prone, issue-prone. Good game today, 7.5. No disappointment from him. Laporte and Nacho Fernandez. Now, I'm going to ask more questions of Laporte here. I think he lost Kolo Muani on that header where he was able to score there. So I'm going to hold him down a little bit. I'm going to give him a 7. Nacho Fernandez, though, I thought was really solid. Made a couple really good interactions there. Yeah, he's a Real Madrid player. Yeah, he also played well. And so I'm going to give him an 8 there. I'm really proud of him today. Jesus Navas, I didn't think he played well. Obviously, he hasn't gotten a ton of minutes. He was up against the best attacker in the world. I probably could have closed down Mbappe when he made that assist to Kolumuani, but he did okay, and he ended up getting a yellow card. He had to come out early. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I just don't think it was a good time for him, and probably the weakest player in the side today. Rodri, though, I think Rodri was very solid overall. Made smart plays, made smart tackles, held the ball when he needed the ball. I'm going to give him a 7, and the only reason it's not an 8 is because he missed Nico Williams' runs so many times. Rodri chose to hold the ball and not be as aggressive, not pick out Nico Williams, I think twice specifically in the second half, when Nico could have been away. It wouldn't have been an easy pass, but it is Rodri, so if anybody can make that over-the-top pass, you'd expect it to be him. And it worked out today because France didn't score, but if France had tied it up and it had gone to extra time and something would have happened, I would have held that against Rodri more. But I would like to see him be a little bit more ambitious with that, the way he's playing. Fabian Ruiz, I think he had another pretty solid game, playing every minute of the match, constantly helping the ball get to those forwards in really good positions. 8, I'm going to give him an 8. I really like Ruiz so far in this tournament. He's looked really good. Now we get to the forwards. We're going to go actually do Dani Olmo first. Fantastic goal. It bobbled around in the box a little bit, but it was a really good finish. Got a little bit of help from Koundé, for sure. Appreciate you, Koundé. Thank you. But great shot. Way to get into that position. He's been really good in this tournament. Real sleeper. I'm going to give him a 9. Nico Williams, I think he did well. I think he could have done a little bit better also. But I'm not going to complain. I think Koundé was solid today. We'll talk a little bit about him after. But I'm going to give him a 7.5 just because it wasn't his best game in the tournament, but he was able to create some chances. He was able to get in some dangerous positions and get the ball in the box. And he came centrally a little bit, held the ball pretty well. I'm constantly impressed with him and his ability to be strong on the ball. He's not just a winger. He's not like Dembele was, where he's like kind of a fragile winger. Nico Williams seems like a very strong player, could maybe even play striker one day. I know that's not what people say about him, but we saw, Iñaki Williams kind of do a similar thing, and Nico's cut from the same cloth, so who knows. Morata, I thought he was terrible. He's not holding the ball up. He's not meeting the ball in the front post on crosses. I don't like Morata. I don't think he's good. He helped out on defense a little bit, which is the only reason I'm giving him a 6.5. But I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good at all. LAMINE Yamal is the greatest player I've ever seen in my entire life at 16, and probably any age. This kid is ridiculous. I'm giving him a 10. I'm gonna give him a 9 actually. I think he was really good throughout that first half, but I think he struggled a little bit to get into the game in the second half. He was defending pretty deep. He wasn't so far up the pitch, so I don't think he affected the game as much as I would have wanted him to, but that's not exactly a fault of his own. He defended well. I'm going to give him a 9.5, actually. I think he had a great game. He just didn't affect play as much as I would have liked after the first half. And then in the second half, he had a couple of really good shots or opportunities where he wasn't, at his best. So 9.5 for a 16-year-old that scored potentially the goal of the tournament. I'd say that's pretty good. And then the subs. There's not much to say about really any of them except Vivian and Marino. I think they were the real standouts out of all of them. And Vivian, I give a solid 7.5. I think he did his job, made a couple pretty solid tackles. And then Marino, again, did his job. I'm going to give him a 7. Didn't do too much, held the ball up a little bit, didn't push anything up the pitch a ton. As it was getting into the second half, they were definitely playing safer a lot. And it just didn't seem like the whole team... I don't know. I would have liked to see them being a little bit more ambitious. We know De La Fuente doesn't necessarily think like that with his taking out LAMINE Yamal and Nico Williams last game and then actually taking both of them out in this match as well. It could have hurt a lot if Mbappe did a Jude Bellingham and scored in the last minute, but it didn't happen, thankfully, because without the two of them, this team is much weaker going forward. But it worked out this time. They were able to get through it and win this match, and we're going to see some good football. Now, I feel bad for Koundé. I think he had a good game today. I don't think it's going to be talked about much because, he did kind of put in Dani Olmo's goal into the net. Nico Williams is going to have more to talk about than Koundé, but I think Koundé was probably the best defender for France today. I think Saliba was pretty good at getting to the near post over Morata a lot, but I think Koundé was pretty solid considering how good these Spanish wingers have been. For Koundé to come out at all, in green numbers here, I'm going to give him a 7. Koundé is probably the best right back in the world right now. Him and Carvajal are really good. So I'm excited to see Koundé play for Barcelona, come back for us, and be a mainstay. We should not sell him. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't really think that's even an option for us, considering all the rumors about Araujo, and then just really the lack of strength really back there. I think Spain is going to win the Euros. I think they deserve to, but we know it's not necessarily the one who deserves it the most. It's whoever gets lucky and wins the match sometimes. So I think it's going to be England up against them, and they're going to put up a good fight. But I think this Spain side, I think France is going to be pretty similar to the way that England played. And I don't see it being as much of an issue. Now, with Harry Kane over Kolomwani, it might be different. But then, again, they don't have Kylian Mbappe. They have Bukayo Saka, and then Phil Foden on the left wing. It'll be interesting. It'll be different, but it'll be a good game. And if it's the Netherlands, I think it's Spain's in the bag. They're an interesting team, but they do struggle to create chances, and I think have been fortunate to score as many goals as they have been because Cody Gakpo has been so good. Depay has been poor. I think he's been very bad, and I just don't think they're the best creatively. I think they're good defensively, but we've seen the Spanish team score against everybody. So I'm excited to see what happens. That was a great game. Thank you guys for watching. There's a new Ansu video out on the main channel, so check it out. This Ansu situation is a little questionable. Subscribe to my TIFO. The link will be down below. Use code ROLU. That's where I'm going to be live streaming the final and live streaming most of my watch-alongs from now on. So go down there, sign up. It's completely free. It's just a new watch-along platform that I'm really helping getting off the ground here, and I'm really excited about the future. So just check it out. I bring up some viewers on at halftime and talk to you guys about the game. There's a lot of other options like that, but check it out. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to see LAMINE Yamal, Fermin, hopefully, and Ferran Torres cook in the final. This is gonna be good. But yeah, peace everybody.